Hello guys and welcome to my channel, and for the first time ever I would request you all in the beginning of the video to please subscribe to my channel for more motorcycle and car reviews. So yeah, that was the request, and let's begin the review. As you can see that I have the Bonneville T120 black with me today, and I take it that if you're watching this, you want to buy a Bonneville, however you want to check every video before you make that purchase, and you want to know how it performs in the city, how it performs on the highways, okay, the fuel efficiency, and the ease or the difficulty of living with this Bonneville. So of course I'll cover all of that. In fact, I'll also try to answer that all important question. Do you choose this, the T120 or the T100? In fact, so I first rode the T100 back in 2014. At that point in time, it used to have a 19-inch of front and a 17-inch rear. Now the Bonnies, they have an 18-inch front tire and a 17-incher at the rear. In India, this motorcycle costs 1 lakh rupees more than the T100, and so we'll see whether you should pay that 1 lakh more or buy the T100. So let's start with the ergonomics first, and since we're talking about both the motorcycles as and when necessary, let me tell you that everything about the dimensions of both the motorcycles remains absolutely the same. So you have the same wheelbase, you have the same suspension, you have the same chassis. Everything about the cycle parts is more or less the same. In fact, the only difference that I noticed was I felt that this is a shorter, narrower handlebar, and whereas that's not the case. Even the seat height of both the motorcycles is absolutely the same. 790 mm for this one, 790 mm for that one. And in fact, I would like to add here that I am just 5 feet tall. In 2017, when I tested the motorcycle, one of my photographers, we had 3 photographers shooting the motorcycle. One of the photographers was 6'3". He told me that he was very comfortable on the T100. So that basically makes me stick my neck out and tell you that anyone who's 5 feet tall to 6'3", he was 6'3", would be absolutely comfortable on the T100 and the T120 as well. So, however, talking specifically about short people, I would say that someone who's 5 feet tall, say somewhere around, or maybe like 5'3", 5'4", when I sit on the motorcycle, okay, there is a slight, if you can see, there is a slight reach to it, okay, which is absolutely fine. In fact, I prefer that riding position in the city. However, I reckon this, this seating position, especially if you're buying a motorcycle like this, you don't want to sit like this. You want to sit like this, right? So, I think short people like me, on the highways, after a couple of hours, it might get tiring. Okay. However, I would recommend that you take a longer test ride to ascertain that. For anyone who's like taller than 5'4" or 5'5", I don't think he or she would have a problem as far as the seating posture is concerned on long rides. In city rides, even if you're a 5-footer like me, you would not have a problem. You would actually you would want that kind of leverage. So yeah, ergonomics pretty sorted in every manner otherwise, and the ride quality, okay, the ride quality, if it looks like the suspension is basic, and yes, it's not some high-tech adjustable stuff, okay, you would not expect that on a modern classic, to be honest, and it works absolutely fine. In fact I have no complaints whatsoever from the ride quality. It's actually quite nice, okay. You would not have a problem in the city, you would not have a problem out on the highways, and again, at the cost of repetition, the ride is pretty sorted. Performance, now we're talking. This is a 1200cc engine, okay, and the performance, this has torque everywhere. This has like, so Triumph says that, this bike produces 104 Newton meters of torque at 2970 RPM. Let's round it off to 3000 RPM. So more than 104 Newton meters of torque at 3000 RPM. Now, just to put things into perspective, the T100's 900cc engine, it produces 80 Newton meters at, if I remember correctly, 32, somewhere around 3200 RPM. Now, how does that translate, on the road? So 0 to 100, in the T100, it comes up in a shade under 6 seconds. This one, I did multiple runs. So the worst was 4.9, and the best was, in fact, I'll share that run with you. The best was either 4.1 or 4.5. Okay, so even if you take 4.5, that's 1.5 seconds quicker than the T100, which back then I had found to be pretty quick for the segment. I mean, it was quicker than all the Harleys in the segment. And now 0 to 160 kilometers per hour of the T100 was a little less than 18 seconds. This one, I still cannot believe that it did in a shade over 10 seconds. Okay, yeah, so that's an almost 8-second difference. That's quick. That's quick for the segment. That's quick, whatever standard you use to measure that. Now, the best part is, of course, you would. So why is the acceleration run, needed? Because that tells you how quickly you can get away from the shitty traffic. As simple as that. Okay. Now, what that also means is, and when I said that, it feels that this bike has torque everywhere. So, for example, you're doing 100 kilometers per hour in 6th gear. Okay. So that translates to somewhere around 2700 RPM. So it is that unstressed. Okay. And then if you want to overtake the vehicle in front of you, you don't need to shift down. You do not need to shift down. From 100 to 120, it took hardly a shade over 2 seconds. It's like tuck, tuck, and you are at 120 and you have overtaken. This is the beauty of it. You do not need to shift down to overtake. Again, you might do it out of habit, but you don't need to. Okay, so performance is lovely. Handling. Okay, although the Bonneville in 1959 was conceived, for races, all right, and it was the T120 that was the first Bonneville in 1959, and so it was the Tiger 110 with dual tuned carburetors. Okay. And that came to be known as the Bonneville T120. Now, nowadays, of course, you don't buy it to race. You buy it to cruise. You buy it to use it daily. You buy it to go touring on this. So don't expect it to be, so you're not going to be anywhere near your friend who's riding a super sport. Let's be very clear about that. However, it's not a bad handler by any means. It's just that long sweeping corners, this will hold its line. Tight corners, you have to slow down. Okay, but then yeah, I think every potential Bonneville owner would be absolutely okay with that. Now, the brakes are nice. This is a new bike. It's hardly done 700-800 kilometers, so the brakes are still bedding in. And but then yes, I can say that the brakes are nice. Okay, you would not have any complaints. And fuel efficiency. So I will be leaving in the next half an hour. I have to return the bike. Okay, and on the way back, I'll calculate the exact fuel efficiency, which you should now have it on your screen because I'll put it. And Triumph claims somewhere around 22 kilometers per liter. Okay, when I had tested the T100, Triumph was claiming, and I'm sure they still claim it, somewhere around 26 kilometers per liter. That bike had returned somewhere around 25.1. Okay, let's take 25 kilometers per liter. Let's see exactly how much this one gives. I think anything over 18-19 kilometers as an average of both city and highways should be good enough. So let's see. And this are the 14.5 liter fuel tank. The low fuel light comes on when you have around 70 kilometers or approximately 40 miles worth of fuel in the tank. So I take it that it has around 3 to 4 liters still in the tank. That should give you an idea about the fuel efficiency, but then again I'll calculate and tell you exactly how much it is. Oh, by the way, this gets heated grips as standard. There's no cruise control, but I think you can get that as an accessory from Triumph. And adjustable levers and for span, and the clutch pull is very light. No one will have a problem with that. And the headlight, I found it to be more than adequate, to be honest. The low beam and the high beam, the headlight is absolutely fine. Okay, of course, that's human tendency that you want the brightest headlight out there. However, does it work? Does it suffice? Yes, it does. And okay, the all important question now. Do you buy the T120 or the T100? In fact, that reminds me, I forgot to tell you one thing. It has a 6-speed gearbox. The T100 gets 5. I personally did not feel the need of a 6 gear in the T100. This one again is a beautiful unit, very slick shifting. Okay, no false neutrals, and when you want to find neutral, it's there. Okay, and the only real negative is for either short people like me, or you can say who are not strong men or strong women. This is a heavier bike to move around in a parking lot. For someone who has to do it daily, the pushing and pulling, this is slightly on the heavier side of things. The T100 is comparatively better. So that was the long and short of it. Please feel free to ask me more questions that you may still have, and I'll try to answer each and every one of them. Thank you so much.